Welcome to the March edition of What's in Bloom at the Ruth Bancroft Garden. Each month, we put together a selection of plants that are in bloom in that particular month, and we print these out as a sheet, a handout to garden visitors. And so, for our What's in Bloom video, we're taking a selection of those and highlighting them so you can really get a good look at what they are and what they do. And here we go. First up, we have Salvia clevelandii. Now, there are a lot of salvias, and some of them are quite drought tolerant and others not. Some of our California native salvias, like Salvia clevelandii here, are very drought tolerant and excellent choices for a low water garden. It's just getting going now as we do our filming here in late February. The flowers are just starting, but lots and lots of spikes of flower on the way. So it's going to have a good spring here. This is a very low water needs plant because it grows in a dry part of California. Some of the salvias that occur in wet places need a lot of water and aren't as drought tolerant as this one is. But this one's a wonderful choice for a California garden, Salvia clevelandii. Aloe ferox is an iconic plant of South Africa. Has a big distribution in the southern half of the country, mostly in the summer rainfall zone, but its westernmost populations get more rain in the winter than in summer. Here it is in bloom here at the Ruth Bancroft Garden. So it has a candelabra type inflorescence with lots of upward pointing spires of flowers, and the flowers begin at the bottom and work their way up on each one of these racemes. The usual color for Aloe ferox is red or red-orange, but we have actually quite a number of different color forms here, pink ones and red and yellow ones and white ones. So the species has more colors than most people realize. A magnificent plant can get up to 10 feet or so tall, and a lot of them blooming here at the Ruth Bancroft Garden in February and March. Aloe ferox. Bulbinella nutans is a bulb in the asphodel family. That's the same family to which the aloes belong. And it comes from western South Africa in the winter rainfall region. And here it is in full bloom now in late winter. It will go totally dormant in the summertime, absolutely nothing there, and you wouldn't even know it existed until the fall rains bring out the new foliage and it starts to grow again. Then, towards the end of the winter, we get this flower display, lots and lots of bright yellow flowers, a really dependable plant in a winter rainfall climate like ours. Bulbinella nutans. Every family has a type genus, that is, the genus that lends its name to the family as a whole. So the aloes and the bulbines and bulbinellas and gasterias belong to the family Asphodelaceae. And the type genus of that family is Asphodelus. And here we have an Asphodelus, Asphodelus aestivus, in flower. So it's a Mediterranean native, comes from the Western Mediterranean. And just like a bulbinella, it goes totally dormant in the summertime. And then from the underground bulb, the new leaves come up in the fall, and we get this flower display in late winter. This is not on our What's in Bloom list, but I'm just throwing it in as a bonus because it's in bloom and it illustrates the genus that lends its name to the family Asphodelaceae. Euphorbia is a huge genus that occurs around the world. They range from little tiny weeds, some of our common garden weeds are euphorbias, all the way up to trees. And a substantial number of the euphorbias are succulent, and the succulent ones are especially abundant in Africa, also Arabia, Madagascar, India. But South Africa has more than its share. And here is a little interesting one called Euphorbia bupleurifolia. And its body looks kind of like a pine cone with this little tuft of leaves and flowers nestled amongst the leaves, just coming into flower now. This comes from the southern part of South Africa and a little bit towards the east of the center in the summer rainfall zone. And it's a relatively easy plant to grow, although it can't take an awful lot of cold. We have it here where it gets protected to keep it from getting too much cold and wet during the wintertime. It does very well as a potted plant also. Euphorbia bupleurifolia. Acacia is a large genus in the pea family, and it belongs to a part of the pea family called the mimosoids. And these have flowers with very long stamens, so that when they flower, it's like a burst of stamens. And the genus used to be larger than it is now. It included lots of plants from the Americas and from Africa, but the greatest number of them came from Australia. And when the genus was subdivided, because that was the largest piece of it, that's what kept the name Acacia. So the Australian acacias are themselves very variable. And this is an unusual one, Acacia denticulosa. So the leaves are very rough and undulating, and the flowers are on little yellow wands, and they're just beginning now, but it's going to be a glorious sight all through the month of March. Acacia denticulosa. The Protea family is a family that has a lot of plants from South Africa, and these are very well known in the cut flower industry, for example, things like proteas and leucadendrons and leucospermums. But the family also has lots of representatives in Australia. And well known are the grevilleas, but there are others that are less well known, like Isopogon. And here we have Isopogon divergens, just beginning to flower now with lavender pink flowers, and they're in little cone-like heads. And this one's got a lot of buds on it, so it's really going to have a great month in March. And we're really happy to see it doing so well. It's one of the plants that we've been trying to get more and more of the unusual Proteaceae in the garden, and this is one of our success stories. Isopogon divergens. That brings us to the close of our March What's in Bloom. But remember, we've only showed you a sample of what's on our March What's in Bloom list, and there's lots more to see, and we hope you can come to the garden and see it for yourself. If you're farther away and can't come visit us, well, we do have a wonderful website, and we encourage you to look at that and see things like the plant highlights and the various What's in Bloom films we've done for different months, and also check out some of our offerings of classes and workshops and events. It's all happening here at the Ruth Bancroft Garden, and come check it out when you can.